Hi, my name is David Bell. I work in technology consulting. My company's name is Fusion Alliance, and my title is software engineer. Tell me about your overall career that led you to your current position. I got a bachelor's degree in management information systems from Ball State University back in 2002. After graduation, I started working for a medical device manufacturer named Cook Medical based in Bloomington, Indiana. I spent 10 years with Cook as a programmer, working on many different internal and customer facing systems. In 2013, I left Cook and started with Fusion Alliance as a technology consultant, which is where I work today. Uh, I've worked the last 8 years with Fusion as a tech lead, software engineer, and senior consultant with many unique clients on exciting and challenging technology projects. How did you become interested in this field? Well, when I was a child, I had an Apple IIe computer, and my family got through the school system where my mom worked. I learned how to program games and all sorts of programs using BASIC, which was the language, and I was hooked. I continued to program mostly as just a hobby, though, until I started with Cook in 2003. With Fusion, I was always fascinated with the world of consulting, the idea of working on different projects, technologies, working with lots of different clients. It was scary and exciting, but it's been incredibly rewarding. How did you get into the consulting field and why do you stay? I got into consulting both as a new challenge, the flexibility that it afforded me, the idea of working with lots of different technologies and working with lots of different clients. I would say there are really three reasons why I stay. The first would be, getting to work on cutting edge technologies. We got cloud, containers, microservices, all the best programming languages like Node, and JavaScript, Java, Go. The second is that I get to work with different teams, people, projects, technologies. I have the ability to move around to different clients, which really keeps the work interesting and never a boring day. The third reason I think it's a very important one, but I love working for Fusion. The people are great. When you find an employer that respects you and your time and really cares about you and continuously shows their appreciation for all your hard work, that's a company you want to work for. What is the biggest challenge in the industry? I'd say one of the biggest challenges in my industry, of course, is change. Technology and software engineering, it's always moving at a rapid pace. Programming languages are evolving and new ones are continuing to pop up all over the place. And, all these things have new innovative ways to solve business problems. So change is consistent. Another big challenge I'd say is communication. You got project requirements and customer expectations. You always got to try to meet those. And so it's always top priority and can be a challenge. What are some of the ways people from your industry are making a difference in the world? Um, Technology is being used to drive massive change on a global level. Problems from pollution, hunger, climate change, other threats being tackled every day using all kinds of things like machine learning, artificial intelligence, cloud technologies, all these ever evolving frameworks and languages. I don't have to tell you, everywhere you look, technology, software, it's eating the world. Seeing firsthand how, all these technological solutions have impacted the world is another really great reason to move into this field. What has helped you get to where you are, and what advice would you have for others who want to set off in a similar direction? Something that's helped me is how easy it is to access, all the tutorials and guides on the internet these days and software. Resources today, are way more readily available than they ever have been. You can jump on the internet and start up free tutorials, download technologies. The majority of the programming languages and technologies today that I use are all open source, and you can get them for free just off the internet. As far as advice, I'd say start today. If you haven't already, research the areas in programming that interest you the most. If you like making web applications and web pages, or if you like doing robotics or machine learning, making video games. Just start building something today. You don't have to complete it today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. But once you start working on it and moving on the project, you'll be surprised how quickly it takes off and how far you'll get along. Some other advice, joining an open source project, something I couldn't do when I was starting out early in the days, that wasn't really an option. But joining a project, contributing, whether it's documentation or you're writing, code changes, join one and try to give back. A lot of firms, including Fusion, today, like myself, when I do interviews, I want to see what you've worked on. I want to see code examples. Do you have a code repository on GitHub that you can share, with some of your projects? And if you do that, and if you have that, it'll get you a long way. Maybe another one would be like having a lifetime learning perspective, a lifetime of learning. My son always jokes with me. He says, "Dad, why are you working on the weekend?" So I'm pounding away at the keyboard. And I say, "I'm not, son. I'm learning a new framework and language. I want to see how it's different. It might be better. How can it solve my problems?" So always be learning. Always, be researching stuff. What are the common misconceptions people have? How can we combat these misconceptions and communicate more effectively? I'd have to say difficulty in programming has got to be a big misconception. Programming, it's not easy. It can be hard, but it's really just about rules and conditions, right? Like if this happens, then do this, else do this other thing. And I may be simplifying it, but it's really something that I think anybody can get into, and it just takes time, practice, dedication, like any other task. Another misconception is probably that you need a computer science degree to be a software engineer. I think experience is way more important, when it comes to making yourself someone at the front of the line, who stands out. Start building things today. Like I said, if you come into an interview and you've got code or you have an example or an app, something that you built, something that you're passionate about, it's going to get you a really far way. All right. How has the technology industry changed in the last 5 years? What do you predict will happen in the next 5 to 10? Well, this is a fun one. So in the software industry, we always joke that it's like a pendulum, right? At first, it was the mainframe. We all connected to it over a terminal, a green screen terminal, right? And then we moved into a client-server architecture where we had these big PCs sitting on our desk, Windows 95, et cetera. And we did a lot of the processing on those PCs. Then we swing back, right? And all the software is now on the web, and we're just using a browser to access them, right? For the majority of the stuff, all you need is a browser. Chrome OS, for example, is a great example of that in play. Swing back. Let's go the other direction now. Now we have mobile apps, and everything runs on your phone, and we're back to client server. Let's swing back again. Now we're talking about the cloud, right? And so the one thing I can say in the last 5 to 10, I'm going to go with cloud computing. It's continuing to be huge. The numbers are growing, but it's a big thing. Cloud computing is really like a public utility, right? You pay for what you use. You don't have to stand all that stuff up yourself. You just provision everything you need with a click of a button. You need more servers, you just hit a button. It's an interesting approach that the industry is heading towards, but it seems to be working out, and I definitely see that in the future. Being a programmer, I would have to, not walk away from this without predicting something about languages. Java, this is, the language that I've done the majority of my career. It's been huge over the last 20 years. It's going to continue to be in the enterprise space. Node, JS, JavaScript, all these types of things are really chipping away at market share. But JavaScript, I'd say, if you were to, put your money someplace, it's still pretty fantastic as far as being able to build browser applications, server apps, mobile apps, and all the like. So that's my prediction. Is there anything we're leaving out here that needs to be addressed? I think the only thing that I would like to add would be like what the typical workday would be, or workflow for a software engineer these days. Nowadays, the majority of shops have gone agile, and what that means is that we have 2-week sprints where we work on all our features that our product owners put in front of us. We work those for 2 weeks and continuously push code, right? Small changes, but the idea is to keep the ball always moving and get things out quick. And then there are ceremonies like planning, and then like at the end of the sprint, you'll do a retrospective and talk about what went well, what went bad, what action items can we have for the next sprint to make everything better. The idea is to keep the team strong and moving forward, towards those business goals. So if this sounds like a fun job to you and this gets you excited about things, please feel free to reach out anytime. Thank you.